In a studio that's in a basement comes the epic story of how two friends changed the future of the movie podcast game forever. The reviews are in. Boys Life magazine gives the High Sci podcast 4.5 acorns. The Daily Bugle says, these guys are super legit. And Pope Francis declares the podcast as life-affirming. From the kid who tried to get smart with David Spade and got fucking old.
You're still out. You're still back.
And the guy who can name all four Baldwin brothers.
Alec, William, Daniel, and the baby boy, Stephen.
Live from the studio of his parents' basement. The Have You Seen It podcast.
Welcome back to the Have You Seen It podcast. My name is Mason Knight. That is Cash Kraus. Oh, shit.
What?
Did you cover your mouth?
What? Of course I did.
I don't want you to be contagious. Goodness gracious.
Yeah. Yeah, because there's a little bug going around right now.
There is a little
right?
bug, known as the COVID-19 coronavirus. Yeah.
Yep.
As if we haven't brought it up 3 straight episodes on this podcast.
Well, how could you not?
I don't know. I don't know how you couldn't.
How could you not?
Movie theaters are even getting shut down at this point.
Every movie theater shut down. There's not. There's not one open.
No.
Yeah. So
The
we
mall
thought
closed down.
So we thought, what are we going to
Review.
What are we going to review?
We have no idea.
We thought it'd be fun. What a fun little idea. You know, what'd be fun? There's a crazy virus going around. Wouldn't it be fun if we did an Outbreak movie?
It would be fun.
Big fucking mistake.
It was. Because
big fucking mistake.
yeah.
About halfway into this, I thought, oh, this isn't fun. This is more like school at this point.
this is not taking my mind off of it
Yeah.
in a healthy way.
Exactly.
It's more panicking me.
So you told me go pick an Outbreak movie or whatever and we'll review it. And it was between this and 12 Monkeys for me. But that's more of a sci-fi movie where the guy's got to go back in time and prevent it. But I should have done that. I should have done one that took it a lot less serious than this movie.
Yeah, because this movie was very well researched too.
It is. It's the most. I mean, everyone says it because we're talking about Contagion, of course.
Yes, Contagion.
The Contagion, the crown jewel of Outbreak movies, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
They show these movies in college classes and epidemiology classes and stuff like that. Classes about diseases. They show it in school. They're doing that shit.
Yeah.
And you know it's done pretty well. But yeah, it's known for being realistic, and I'd say a little too realistic.
I'd say as well. Everything lined up. What was so weird about this movie is, like, we were talking about this earlier off air, but even the virus started in China.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just like the coronavirus here. So it's like, it's crazy.
Yeah. Well, most of the time, if it's a disease, it's usually going to start in, because, China's got highly dense populated areas. And this one starts in Kowloon City, which is the most populated province in China. You just have people stacked on top of each other. It's a hotbed for disease. So if it's going to pop off, it's going to pop off in China. It's going to pop off in India or places where it's just a ton of people with not a lot of like healthcare and shit like that.
Yeah. And not regulations either. There aren't a lot of regulations that we have here in the States for like how to cook food and stuff like that. So
no, yeah. But this movie, that's why it's so good. It's because it's so realistic.
Very realistic.
That's why it's a thriller, but it's a damn near a horror film to me. Just watching this thing and watching society slowly slip into chaos, it's horrifying.
When we were talking about
and how closely it's mirroring what's happening now, that's why I didn't have so much fun watching. I had a lot more fun in 2011 when I'm like, whoa, this is crazy, Yeah. Would that happen? Well, because... And they were like, oh, it does. It is happening. It's kind of crazy,
Well, that was back then when, like 2010 or whatever was like the H1N1 virus.
Yes.
But that wasn't even that big of a deal, and like 17,000 people died from that.
No, and they remember they really blew that up. Mm-hmm. And that was what the CDC had a problem in this one because,
that was like, right after the fact.
And we're having the same problem now with people saying it's not a big deal and they're just over exaggerating. But yeah, it's they did a really, really good job. The writing is just, it's just the panic that people, and like at one scene, it shows people going into grocery stores and like 9 packages of batteries and 9 flashlights and giant packages of all the water and stuff like that. It's mirroring what's happening now.
It is.
It'd be a lot worse if the corona was as deadly as, what is it?
25 to 30% mortality rate.
Yeah, for the
this
contagion.
virus.
What is it? MV1 or something?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's fucking nuts.
It
and
is.
it kills you in a day, and it's unbelievably contagious.
Mm-hmm.
That's the problem. But
Well, it can literally be transferred just by touch, they were talking about social distancing in this movie too. And I'm like, wow, that's literally what we're talking about with the coronavirus. Like, they're using all the same terminology.
It's the only known way to stop a virus from spreading is social distancing. It's the only proven way of, but people,
and that is why I measured our chairs 3.5 feet away.
But did you see the picture in Florida of like the people at like the beach today? Just crammed in. They're not taking it.
They don't care.
It's Florida.
They don't care. They're like, it's warm here.
It's
There's no such
funny.
thing as a flu.
And even the news anchors in Florida were like, yeah, I guess it doesn't affect the beaches much. It's crazy.
Oh, God.
Yeah, they got to cut that fucking state off and
They
just
do.
push it.
Push it out into the ocean. Let it
Bikini
become its
Bottom
own
style
island.
and just push that place onto another. It's crazy. But yeah, they were crammed. The funniest thing I've been watching is, I've just been loving it, is, Big Brother.
Yes.
They're not allowed any outside news or anything.
Oh, so they have no idea any of this is going on.
So what's been going on is like Big Brother Germany, Big Brother Brazil. A lot of them are doing specials where they reveal to the cast recently of what's going on. And they start crying. They don't know anything. They don't even know Kobe's dead.
What?
Yeah.
How long is Big Brother?
Well, it started in early January. Some of the season started. So once it starts in January, they don't know.
I've never watched that show, but isn't it just recording people 24/7?
Yep, that's it. Yeah, I don't watch it either. I don't really get it. But they do like, they have like tasks and games they make them do every once.
okay.
But they have to stay just in this house the entire time.
Well, hey, they're being quarantined at least.
I know. But the face that I watched the Big Brother Brazil one, and because the Big Brother Germany one hasn't happened yet, they're doing it tomorrow.
Okay.
Live.
So we'll see more tears.
Yeah, but Brazil, like, they came out and they're like, because they sit them down, they're like, we know we never do this or whatever. So immediately people are just panicked.
Like, what's going on?
Yeah. And they're like, we know. They're like, but recently, they're like, when you first came in here, you might have heard there's something going around. Because they came in there like December.
Oh, yeah, and that was
When it
kind
was
of
like- just like the
we
rumors,
heard
yeah.
about Corona, maybe. Okay.
Just like the rumors. And like, yeah, you may have heard something. But the producer's like, but it's kind of gotten worse. Yeah.
Kind of?
Yeah, and the people are like, because he's speaking Portuguese, so it's
Yeah.
all like interpreted. But you don't even need to listen to him because you just see on their faces, because their faces just slowly get worse and worse and worse. Eventually, he tells them, you guys' families are okay or whatever, but it's hilarious.
Oh, they at least told them that their families were okay. Because that would be the first question anyone would ask.
because
on that show.
they're not trying to make it, but they have to tell them in a way. Well, how do you tell people without? You really got to ease them into that. You can't just sit down, guys.
Guys, look,
Virus, shit's going crazy.
It's crazy. Like,
We're gonna
you
keep
have
the
to be
show running,
quarantined in
though.
this house.
We're
'cause-
gonna
we're gonna keep the cameras going because we have no other option.
Because this is the craziest thing ever. But dude, you do not want to leave this house.
No. That'd be the one time, like, if you were feeling a little stir crazy, you'd be like, well, I might as well do this show.
Oh
On
yeah.
top of it, yeah. Be the good time.
I don't know if I can like kind of put on a happy face though and whatever, knowing that there's something going on and I'm not getting any updates.
That's true. That would kill me.
Because they tell them once and then be like, it could be a thing where like, zombie apocalypse where the guy wakes up after a coma and everything's gone.
Yeah. Or like a Resident Evil kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where they wake up and just everything's gone. They're like, what the fuck? Like, things got a lot. It's just hilarious to me. Yep. And there's got to be there at somewhere there's got to be one guy like out in the middle of the woods or something that went on like a 2-month hunting trip and he's coming back and he's just going to be fucking floored. Kobe's dead. There's a virus going on. Tom Hanks is sick.
Yeah, Tom Hanks. Oh, speaking of, this is movie news, but Idris Elba just confirmed positive testing
I saw.
for coronavirus.
Yep. Yeah, I saw he wasn't showing any symptoms though or anything. He just
He
was
just is positive.
for it. Yeah.
Which that is the case, isn't it? Like sometimes you can have it and then not even show symptoms of it.
Yeah.
Which is even creepier.
But like no one but celebrities are getting tested just for the hell of it.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, no one else
That just shows you, and it goes back to Contagion, because Contagion shows it does a great job of showing, just how, if something like this happened, how difficult it would be to like get all the agencies together and everything. Because at one point, like the 50 different levels of state and whatever, just how shitty it would be. And at one point,
each state is run different.
And at one point, they use the one plane that they have to get a Congress member out instead of the scientist that was sick. That was on it's hypocrisy. It's crazy, and the entire thing just slows the entire thing down. Well, should we jump into it?
Yeah, let's jump into this.
This is an ensemble cast if you haven't seen it.
Oh, God, the cast is great.
It has everything. And by the way, it's directed by Steven Soderbergh. He's a great director. But yeah, it's got everyone in it. Matt Damon, Lawrence Fishburne, Jude Law, Gwyneth Paltrow, Marianne Cotillard, Kate Winslet, Bryan Cranston, who they didn't even... I remember in the trailer, they didn't even show. There's too many stars in this.
There are.
But man... Lawrence Fishburne, man, he's fucking good in everything.
Everything. There's nothing that he's bad in.
I love Lawrence Fishburne.
So do I.
How is he such a good actor, man? He can play a wide range of characters too.
I guess he's
from
just
a gangster to like a business, like a CDC doctor. It's crazy, dude.
He's just always convincing. It doesn't matter what role he plays. I believe him.
Yeah, he says anything. I'm like, all right, this guy is. But, yeah, so it starts out, and I remember this was very controversial because it starts out with Beth Imhoff, played by Gwyneth Paltrow.
Didn't have a huge role in this.
No, and I remember in 2011 people talking about how crazy it was that they decided to kill her off, right at the start.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. I like that move a lot because it's surprising, and it's Gwyneth Paltrow, I'm not a big Gwyneth Paltrow fan.
Really?
No.
You don't think she's a good actress?
I think she's very one-dimensional. And she sells all that fucking shit, the gooch, all that stuff that's...
the stoned rock that you shove up your vagina and it's supposed to help
heal
you
and cure you from cancer and shit. She's
wacky.
A big preparer of that stuff, and I don't like that either. But anyway, so she's coming back from a layover in Chicago. She has an affair with a former lover who's played by Steven Soderbergh when they talk on the phone, the director. Yeah. And 2 days later, though, she comes home and she collapses on the ground from seizures. And she just got back from a business trip in China. Important to know.
Yeah.
Where
Those seizures look pretty gruesome, too.
Oh, yeah. Where she was in China, where I guess the business trip was just to touch hands with every person she came into contact with. Because, God, when it showed the flashback of her, she's just touching everyone's drink. The chef is coming out. She's touching his hands.
Touching people's chips. Now, one time,
at one point, she puts a drink, and she puts like a food in someone's mouth. Yeah. It's wild,
it is. Dude. She was having a grand old time in China.
Yeah. That's the one good thing about this coronavirus, man. It's for the first time people are like actually hand sanitizing, cleaning themselves. Yeah. And I went to the movie before it was closed out, and no one. It was a little busier. No one was sitting by anyone. It was
really?
No one was touching handrails. No one was doing anything. Man.
I've been so conscientious of it now that it's like I don't touch anything.
And if I see someone touch, and that's what this fucking Contagion movie, because it's shot so well, where it's like you're looking every time when someone's touching somebody.
Yep.
And especially when it's showing like the first like 3 people to get it.
Yeah. And like the guy on the bus coughing and touching the
rail, and then it's so well done. That's what Steven Soderbergh does such a well job. It's a big budget. It's big budget movie, big budget theme, giant outbreak, but he shoots it like an art house film. It's really well shot, but yeah, so she dies immediately. Big shock because Matt Damon is her husband.
Yeah. And Matt Damon's kind of... That was a weird conversation with the doctor. It almost seemed like he was in shock because he was like, yeah, your wife's dead.
He absolutely was in shock.
That was... Can I talk to her now?
That scene is so well done where that's so... To me, it's so accurate if someone were like... How do you explain to someone you saw your wife this morning acting...
You were making breakfast.
She was sick.
Yeah.
Because
And now
diseases
she's
don't
gone.
do that. I mean, they don't act that fast. And the doctor can't tell him anything. That's the crazy part. He's like, did she might have a syphilis or something? He's like, no, but she didn't have
Or like the
herpes
West
or
Nile
something.
or something. Yeah, he's like, yeah, she didn't have fucking herpes. I'm yelling. I'm like, damn.
He's like, he can't tell. But that scene is so well done where he's like, okay, well, can I go talk to her now? He's like, no, she's dead.
Yeah, meaning dead.
Dead,
No longer
but
with us.
He's like, all right. But is she going to come out or something? Can I go in? No. And then the other lady just, like, pull that guy in the room or something.
Yeah,
They're
no
out-
kidding. They're out in the
middle of the
hallway, just like a
waiting-
casual hallway
in the middle of the
conversation.
waiting room, yeah.
Oh, by the way, your wife is dead.
Well, things are about to get real worse for old Mitch.
So he thinks his day is pretty bad already.
Yeah,
He
and
gets a
he's
phone call from the babysitter.
he's thinking this can't get any worse,
No,
right?
of course not.
My wife dies. No one's day is getting worse than this. Then the babysitter calls and tells old Mitch that his son is sick.
And that he's not breathing.
Yeah.
Why are you calling me, bitch? Call 911. That's why we hire you.
And that's one thing is it took him forever to call 911 when she was seizing up.
Yeah.
He was, oh, are you okay? He just kept asking, hey, knock that off. You're acting wild here.
Acting a little weird. You're scaring the children.
And the babysitter didn't call 911. But of course, I guess you never expect that kind of thing to happen. It only happens in movies, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, the kid dies. He was sick that morning.
How about this, too? This is what I didn't understand. So he's at the hospital. The babysitter calls him. He tells her to call 911 right away. And then he gets to the home before the ambulance gets there.
Yeah, and he was at the hospital.
He was at the hospital. And I'm like, hold
They're
on,
taking
what?
their sweet.
Yeah, they are. Like, hey, look, man, we got more important things. A 9-year-old boy, yep, not
Yeah.
our number one
Well,
priority.
He was probably going, you gotta think, 120. Where
Yes.
ambulance drivers still have to
Yeah.
obey the basic laws. That guy probably heard his son wasn't breathing and probably did 120 on the freeway. Fuck, I would. I'd be on the shoulder the
for
entire
sure.
time. Yeah. But yeah, and he finds out that his son died of a similar disease, and now the doctors are kind of freaking out because it
Now
doesn't
they really
happen.
don't know.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. The mystery is what is scary, and that's the whole thing with people are like nowadays or today they're like the media is blowing it up or whatever. When we had flu deaths last year, when we had like 5,000. The only reason it scares people so much now is because we know nothing about the corona. Every year we expect a certain amount of flu deaths. We're predicting a certain amount, 50,000 flu deaths or whatever. So if we can predict it, it's not scary. Not knowing anything about it, though, that's
Terrifying.
People don't get that. People don't understand it.
Well, they
if
don't
doctors,
because-
if doctors and scientists are scared, we should also.
We should also be scared because they know a hell of a
Yeah,
lot
not some
more.
guy on Facebook telling you not to be scared because it's a fucking conspiracy.
And
If a
it's-
scientist
yeah.
is telling you, I feel like, I don't know, I should be. If my personal doctor is telling me to stay home or whatever, I'm thinking maybe I should stay home.
Yeah, I'm thinking so too.
It's a conspiracy. These guys think it's all. But that's what this movie shows too. Is people were fighting it for so long that by the time they started doing
Realizing
something
it
about
was
it,
actually
it caused this huge panic and they started killing each other. So they put Mitch in isolation, Matt Damon.
Yeah.
Again, he's having a rough 24 hours. But he
gets a visit.
gets invited. Thank God this guy had more than one kid.
I know.
Thank God. That's why you can't have only
And I'm
only one
assuming
kid.
his daughter was gone at school, she said. So I'm assuming she was in college. That was kind of confusing.
Or private school.
Oh, okay. Because I was going to say she did not look old enough to be in
No,
college.
because she went to prom also, and proms don't have
Oh,
college.
yeah, duh, that's right. Yeah.
No, I'm
But
guessing.
why send your daughter away?
No, because that was his half daughter. She lived with her real mom. Gwyneth Paltrow wasn't her mom, and that wasn't her real brother either. That was
Yeah, stepbrother.
half brother
Or
because it was
half-brother.
Matt Damon's
Oh,
son.
okay.
Yeah, yeah. No, so I don't think she went to a private school. I think she lived with her, real mom.
Her biological mom. Okay.
Because
that
remember,
makes sense.
he tells her to go back.
Yeah.
And she goes, I can't leave you. Mom's got Steve or whatever. I'm
Right.
pretty sure his name is Steve. That's always the stepdad's
It's
name.
always
If you don't
Steve.
see
Steve
the,
the
if you don't
stepdad.
see the stepdad, his name is Steve. But so in Atlanta though, the DHS and the CDC are thinking that it's a bioweapon.
Mhm.
Which it never
Initially,
is.
that's what they
Yeah,
thought.
they thought it's a bioweapon in turn because it's happening. Again, this is like the perfect storm because this is happening over Thanksgiving weekend, the most traveled weekend in the
United
world.
States. Yeah.
Oh yeah, in the United
Yeah.
States, but yeah, and people are traveling for like Christmas shit too. Yeah, so it's crazy, but they're thinking it's intended to cause damage over Thanksgiving weekend. But Dr. Cheever, which is...
That's Fishburne.
Yes, yeah.
Lawrence Fishburne.
Yep. Yeah, he tells Aaron Mears, an EIS officer, and that's Kate Winslet. Mm-hmm. He tells Kate Winslet to go to Minneapolis to investigate this lady, which is Matt Damon's wife who just died.
Yep.
So she goes there and she traces the breakout to Beth, and she thinks that Beth is like, the first case in the U.S. And it's this big, long fucking struggle because remember, he can't get funding. Nope. And they're like, what? Well, where are you going to get that funding from? It's so funny because
it is funny.
The lady, it's because it's just like you have to drag these people. Because that's exactly what the lady says. She's like, what are you going to pull funding from our? It's like, where are you going to get all this funding from? And then the guy's like, and then Lawrence, he's like, fucking forget it. I'll fund it myself. This is retarded. Then we're not going to do this. And then all those people end up coming back later in a panic.
Yeah, exactly. And being like, oh, let's do it.
But, so she goes to Minnesota and, because they didn't even want to release her, like, they didn't want to release, like, her records or anything to her or anything like that. The fucking...
I like how they discovered, I like how she was going through the footage at the casino, too. And finding who she was in contact with, how the waiter died. I like how they brought all those pieces together.
That wasn't Kate Winslet's character. That was this
one.
Doctor.
Marion Cotillard.
Yeah, because Kate Winslet's Dr. Mears, she ends up getting sick.
Yeah, she ends up dying.
Yeah, immediately, and it's a shitty scene too because at this point, people know when you get it. There's nothing you can do.
Nope.
Because they don't know, for one, they don't know why it's happening. They don't know exactly what's happening. They finally find out when they do a biopsy on Gwyneth Paltrow's character, when they cut up her brain.
That was a pretty crazy scene, too, because they flip over the skin over
good prosthetics, too, because whatever the prosthetic does, I don't know if it's Gwyneth Paltrow they made lay there, or it was a dummy.
Or if it was a dummy, but
it
looked
dummy
good.
looked fucking good.
It looked really good.
If it was a dummy, But yeah, that scene's scary because remember the guy's like, step back right now. Because this thing is fucking... Because it does something where it fucks up your lungs and your brain, makes you have aneurysm or something. But yeah, so Dr. Mears gets it and she immediately knows she's fucked. She like doesn't even... Because remember she starts writing shit down and stuff. She starts writing down... which she's a fucking hero because she starts calling the maid service and everyone.
And telling her anyone that was in her room within 24 hours needs to be contacted.
Not a lot of people would do that.
No, of course not.
But she was like the best doctor ever, and they let her die because they had to get some congressman out because they only had one plane that has the containment unit. And they let her fucking die because some goddamn congressman get it that he probably died.
Probably.
Yeah, and I guarantee he wasn't doing anything to help the research.
Of course not. If anything, he's probably making it longer.
Well, he probably got it at some orgy or something like that. So in Atlanta, Dr. Cheevers, Lawrence Fishburne's character, he's... oh, no, this is after. This is at the CDC, Dr. Hextall. That's still not... There's too many fucking doctors in this movie.
There are a lot of doctors.
God damn. And so many characters in this movie as well. But Dr. Allie Hextall, that's the woman who ends up inventing the cure for it at the very end. Yeah. She thinks the virus is a mix of genetic, or she finds out it's a mix of genetic pig and bat virus. And they're working on trying to duplicate it inside a lab. And this is another thing, because remember, they fire the guy that's closest to replicating in a lab because to get the cure.
They said burn all the samples and stuff.
Yeah.
And he was like, what?
Because
he's like, I'm so close.
Because they were paying outside firms to do it, and they wanted to just mainstream with government, which you see from this movie would have taken years for the government. Because there's so much red tape. So at the University of San Francisco, Dr. Ian Sussman, he violates the orders. He's told to destroy all samples of it. And he goes out of his way, which ends up giving him the virus. Remember, he ends up getting sick. Well, it might be from this, but something else. And he ends up duplicating it with bat cells. And it's kind of throughout the entire movie, it's the only reason that humanity is saved is people breaking the rules to save everyone. Like the doctor gives herself the medication when you're obviously
You're not supposed to do that. You're not supposed to not burn the samples.
Yeah, this guy broke
the
the rules by and the entire time, that's what it is. It's a look in humanity and how everyone, when this shit starts going down, everyone is kind of looking out for themselves. You know, with Lawrence Fishburne telling his family to get out before everyone else.
And that was a good scene, too, because that janitor that was right behind him, he was like, hey, dude, I got a family, too.
Yeah. And I liked how at the end
they wrapped it up at the end.
Yeah, at the end it was nice, but at the end they were like, but you will be investigated for this. Because remember the... Jude Law's character, the conspiracy theorist, he gets on and talks about how he knew that his family got out and everything. So all these people are going to get.
But that guy was a liar too.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
that was the whole thing. It was like everyone ended up when the shit hits the fan.
Because he said like
you look out for
Pharinthia was a cure, but he faked his own illness to be like, oh yeah, it works, and 12 million people believed it.
And that's kind of the element of this movie is the contagion is not just the virus, but the contagion is also this crazy outbreak of ideas or whatever. Like they had to contain this guy, Jude Law's character, from saying this homeopathic cure, you know, the shit you get from flowers. No scientific evidence, but he lied to say that it was working, and people were storming pharmacies.
They were so desperate that a lot of them believed it.
Yeah.
And in times of desperation, you can have the mass, a lot of the public believe nonsense.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it also worked out because it was the whole thing of the CDC. They were trying to balance out releasing enough information, but not releasing too much where it caused this panic. So they can only ever release this much. And if you're only ever releasing that much information, it's a hotbed for wrong information to start. And that's why it was able...
Conspiracy theorists and stuff
like that. So this guy was able to come in here and be like, I'll give you the facts when they're not giving you the facts. And his facts ended up not being facts.
They were not. They were...
That's the thing about facts.
It was his truth. That's what it was.
It was. And he ended up... He had like stake in the company that was selling the shit that he was making.
Yeah.
He made millions of dollars for it, and then he ended up getting arrested at the end.
Yep.
Which was awesome.
Well, it was awesome, but then he made bail because the 12 million people raised funds to get him out of jail.
And he was talking about the entire time that it was a conspiracy the whole time, and then when he got sick, and then he started making money from it, and then he started saying it was real and everything, and that it was, but again, it's like, you know, people are doing that now. A shit ton, you know, I just saw they had to do a cease and desist order at a church, one of those huge mega churches that were selling this shit that was saying,
the water. The holy water to heal coronavirus.
Yeah.
What was that preacher's name? I could not believe that.
There was more than one. It was one of those mega churches, you know, the ones that like the Walmart churches where like they're millionaires. But yeah, it was crazy. It's the same shit. That's how good this movie is. It was so accurate in that way. Where it predicted everything. But so Dr. Ian Sussman, he violates the orders, but he's able to duplicate a sample of the MEV1 cell. That's what it's called. And he uses the breakthrough to begin and work on the vaccine. Other scientists determine the spread is by fomites. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Fomites mean it's anything that's not, or it's anything that's not alive. So a hand railing, a piece of paper, that's a fomite. Anything that's
anything you can get the disease by touching.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it says its basic reproduction number of 4 means it mutates by 4 constantly. Mm-hmm. And that the project is and that it's affecting 25 to 30% mortality rate.
Which is so incredibly high.
Yeah. And Matt Damon at this point is locking down his daughter.
He locked her in.
Yeah. He's like a redneck father at this point. He's locking her down. Mary even has a shotgun.
He does. Yeah, he brought the shotgun and everything. He was ready to go. He even broke into his other neighbors' houses too.
Well, because he saw his neighbors, he saw them get broken into and he heard gunshots, remember?
Yep.
And he broke into there. I think he broke in just to see if they were hurt or
whatever. I thought they were going to be dead. No one was in there.
We never found it. I don't understand.
So what were the gunshots about?
I don't know.
I was confused because I really thought I was like,
I thought for sure he was going to see like 2 bodies or I don't know, because at this point, and it's cool because this movie constantly updates you. I'm so glad on the days. It's 21 days, I think, at this point.
Yep.
Society has completely slipped into chaos. The streets are completely covered in trash. I mean, it's crazy how fast that happens. You know, it goes from looking post-apocalyptic very quick.
It does.
Like 1 week of people not picking up their trash, this place goes to hell. But yeah, and so the conspiracy theorist Alan Crumwald or Weed or whatever, that's
played by Jude Law.
Yeah. He's going around. He's feeling pretty good right now. He's wearing his kind of bubble suit or whatever.
Which I like that suit. It looked funny, but it looked
it looked definitely homemade.
It did.
But it probably works.
It probably does work.
Yeah. But
he's got the ventilation system in the back too with the tubes. I was like, okay, this guy's pretty smart.
Oh yeah, again, but it showed that he's been constantly online posting these videos, and again, it's this outbreak of not a virus, but this outbreak of ideas that's just as harmful as the virus itself. Of
course,
people killing themselves for this fucking. Again, it's the flower juice. I can't remember what it's called, but
Florencia.
Because Florencia, and I looked it up, and it's something made from a flower. That's what. Yeah, it's got no medical benefit at all, I don't think. But
and people bought it.
People were killing people for it.
People were killing. Yeah,
this guy did a lot of fucking damage.
Well, remember
just by posting those videos, he did immense amount of damage.
Yep. And a lot of the times too, like when they went to the pharmacy, they were trying to get the Florencia, and they break the window and freak out when they say, "No, that's it for the day." People breaking windows, flipping out. The food carts, as soon as they're done, people just overrun it and just.
These people are thinking they're saving their moms and kids and shit. 'Cause remember, one of Jude Law's characters, a lady he knew from somewhere else, like someone he interviewed or whatever, they always thought he was crazy. Remember, she shows up at his house. Mm-hmm. She's like, "I know you have it. You're the one." He's like, "No, people already broke in here and have it," even knowing that it doesn't work.
I know.
Because if he knew it worked, why the fuck would he be wearing this?
Why would he be wearing the suit? Yeah, and no one asked that question. If I would have saw him on the street, I'm like, hold on, this stuff works, but you're in a full quarantine suit.
Well, at that point, you're just hoping for anything, you know?
That's true.
You know, he was essentially, you know, it was like snake oil, you know? He was selling snake oil. He was selling something that didn't work at all. But at the same time, you know, what is it, 20 million people have died now?
Oh, in the movie.
Yeah, in the movie.
Yeah, about 25.
20 million people, yeah. So the doctor, she thinks there's one cure, and she ends up giving it herself. Mm-hmm. It's a ballsy move.
It is ballsy. Paid off in the end, though.
Because what if she ended up dying? She's literally leading the effort on.
I know.
And to be fair, people are dying at such a fast rate that you can't really afford scientists and doctors to be
dying. No, it takes a long time to learn that what they've gained.
Yeah,
with their knowledge.
But she parallels it with a guy who, a real doctor in real life who gave himself ulcers in real life because he said ulcers were from bacteria, and she talks about how he gave himself ulcers just to show that it works or something like that. Mm-hmm. So she ended up giving herself the disease and or the vaccination,
and then she went to go visit her father
without any protective gear.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, her dad, who was a doctor who ended up keeping his practice open and
trying to save as many people as he could, obviously then contracted the virus.
Yeah. Yeah, so the death toll is now 2.5 million in the U.S. and 26 million worldwide. So shit's getting bad.
That's a lot of people, man.
Yeah.
That's a lot of people.
And earlier on, but this to me is the coolest part of this movie is when they send in the doctor to go investigate it. And it's like investigating a murder.
It is.
You know, she's got to go. She's got to follow all these footsteps. She's got to trace it all the way back to where she thinks happened. You know, ground zero is what they talk about. Mm-hmm. And she traces it, and she does. She does a great job. She goes to Hong Kong or whatever. Yep. And she traces it back with another guy. But shit is getting so bad that the doctor she's working with ends up kidnapping her. as to use as leverage for
the virus, for his village.
Because his village is down to about 20 people.
It is. And majority of them are children.
Yeah, and I can only imagine it was at one point a thriving village with maybe thousands of people. Because at one point he's like, because it's a crazy moment, because they kidnap her and they take her to this room, and she's like, "Is this your family?" She's like, "No, this is my village. This is what's left of them." And she's like, "Are they sick?" And they're like, "No, not yet." But they're all just literally huddled in this fucking room.
Not smart. Social distancing. Come on. 6 feet apart. All of them. That's what it needs to be.
But yeah. But at that point, you're so scared you just don't want. I'd lock myself in a closet or something. I mean, I would be. Yeah. I don't know. I'd be horrified. But yeah, so he wants to use her as leverage to get. Eventually, he knows that they will cure it. But rumors are circulating that the U.S. is going to get a patent on her or something and just release it to them first, which ends up happening.
Which is
scary. It's a scary thought, but it's
very scary.
And it's rumored to be happening right now in the real world.
In the real world, China's threatening not to send over like medical supplies and stuff.
And Trump just tried to buy a pharmaceutical company that was the number one, and they ended up blocking that to stop it. But it's again very realistic to what it shows on this movie about that. But yeah, so eventually they end up getting the cure, and they end up trading the cure for this doctor. But they end up giving all the villagers placebo.
I know. And then she immediately is like, hold on, what?
Yeah.
You gave them placebos?
Because at this point, she's been at this village for months.
Yes.
And she's been like teaching these kids, like schooling. She's part of the village.
She's part of the family, yeah.
And she's been working with it and she's a really good person. She doesn't want to, she wants to help these people.
Yeah, of course.
But she doesn't want to believe that the government would only give out cures to the government. Mm-hmm. But it ends up being that exact case everywhere. Because in America, they bring out the cure and they have a lottery system. But of course, everyone in the government gets a shot.
Of course, yeah.
Bryan Cranston's character, everyone, they're not going to lottery. The president is.
No, of course. The president gets first.
Yeah, he's not in a fucking lottery. It's crazy. It's just insane, but it's.
Do you think that's how they would actually do it if we did have a mortality rate, would they do it by the birth date system?
Oh, I don't know how they would do the lottery system, but there would be some kind of lottery to it. The birthday thing, that seems like the most realistic way of doing it to me. But yeah, I mean, we have no reason to believe that that's not what would happen if something crazy like that happened. If there was such a mass virus breakout, they would give it to all the fucking politicians first instead of the people that actually run the country.
Need it.
Need it. Yeah. Because remember Lawrence Fishburne, he had to steal some.
He did
to give it to
the
custodian's son. Yeah. I don't even think he gave it to the custodian. I don't think he could.
He didn't know because he only had one.
Yeah, and he told him he can't wear. And that's why in China they decided to give him the placebo because they didn't want to make it seem like they were handing it out to everyone. Mm-hmm. So they had to give him a fake and let them die. And she just goes, "Fuck this! I'm going back. I'm living."
No, she literally just sprinted out of there too, out of the airport.
Yeah, because I'm not even sure if she took hers, because the doctor had to give her another one. He's like, "Here, take the real one." And she's like, "Fuck."
No, she didn't take it. No, I don't think she did. I think she just said, "To hell with that. I'm out."
Yeah, it's crazy for sure. But I don't know if she ever gets back to the village. To be honest with you,
yeah, she probably dies on the way.
But yeah, you have to assume it ends with them giving the lottery away. But it's a small percentage of people. A very small percentage of people that are getting it at the start.
Yeah, because the way they did it is it would be like 3/10. Yeah. Oh, so March 10th is so if your birthday's on March 10th, then you're the first one to go, and then they draw the second one, and whatever that birth date is, then that's the second day you can go. But what sucked for Matt Damon's child, Jory, whatever Jory I think was her name, she got day 144. So she had to wait another 144 days of quarantine in her house before she got a vaccine.
And the whole thing was Matt Damon was immune to it. And that was the whole thing with they wanted to go and then see or whatever. But they couldn't, for some reason, tell if his daughter was immune to it. For some reason, why can't you run that test?
Why can't you run that test real quick? It should be pretty easy to
run. So
he
could not let her leave the house, even though, she has 50% of his genes, 50% of the mom's genes. So it wasn't for sure that she was immune to it. But so he had to lock her down constantly. But it was kind of scary because he was so concerned with it because he was watching the lottery. He's like, hey, that's not bad. We still got that's 363 days now because you have 1 in 365 chance of getting called. So he was playing the numbers, but he was freaking out constantly.
Oh, for sure. I mean, not only freaking out, but then you got to protect your daughter against this crazy little horny 15-year-old boy.
The world is dying, and this guy's only trying to fuck.
That's all he's trying to do. I'm just like, dude, come on, man. There's a virus.
How realistic this movie portrayed people.
Oh, God.
Because shit's going down, man. You might as well get one in.
He's like, oh, we both don't have the sickness. Like trying to be a smooth talker and kisser.
And she's like thinking about it.
Dude,
you know what? You're right.
Let's risk our lives and kiss. Yeah, no thanks.
My dad, who's lost everyone at this point. Everyone.
The most selfish girl
I think the last person he had left was Gwyneth Paltrow's mom, his mother-in-law, and I can only assume she looked like she was about 80. I only assume she did not last much longer. That was a great scene when he was going into the funeral parlor, and they're like, we can't release her body.
Yeah.
Her body is fucking ground zero for the worst disease. Because he was going crazy. He's like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do?
That's really sad, too.
It was horrible.
Well, you see those mass graves. You can see satellite images in Iran about the coronavirus.
Well, remember the guy from China was like, because his mom died. She's like, how's your mom? And he was like, well, there's a mass grave outside of
her town or her city,
town,
village, whatever. Yeah.
Again, Steven Soderbergh and the screenwriter, this is the most accurate pandemic breakout movie probably ever that's ever been made. I mean, it's
probably ever will be. I mean, because everything was pretty right.
He's got to be sitting back right now and just happy as hell, being like, "Holy fuck, dude!"
My movie's coming around a second time. I'm making another $40 million because there's so many people renting this movie right now.
I nailed it. Yeah, I nailed it.
Yeah, like I did my research.
Yeah,
and everything came to fruition.
But of course, he had doctors working. He had like the number one guy on disease working with it, and he had another really famous doctor that just goes around speaking about. So he had a lot of people working on this movie for it to be correct, and it's not a 100%. I mean, it's not a documentary.
Well, no, of course not.
But it's as damn for a movie to be this entertaining and this realistic. It's a rare thing.
It is.
But that realism works well with. I mean, it makes it. If it was more of a campy, I wouldn't be as scared.
No,
it wouldn't have had the same effect on me. But it being so realistic and knowing that Gwyneth Paltrow can die at any moment, it's scary. And that moment set the tone for that movie immediately. You know, imagine going and seeing this in the theater in 2011, thinking, "Oh, I'm going to see a Gwyneth Paltrow movie." Not a Gwyneth Paltrow movie. She dies
right away. You're like, "What the hell?"
The most time she had was flashbacks, but
yes, it was.
But the movie ends with an amazing and maybe my favorite epilogue of a movie in any movie.
Well, because it literally just explained how the virus started.
It's so simple as that. So just crazy. The epilogue is they're deforestation. They're cutting down rainforests, humans, and they cut down
And this was this not the same company Gwyneth Paltrow worked for, which was the same company that knocked down the trees?
Yeah.
Because I saw the
I think it might have been, and it might have just tied it all together, showing that it's man that kicks this off, not just nature, not just randomness. It's man that kicks this off. But it shows they're bulldozing over a forest, and they knock down a tree, and this bat flies out. And this bat goes and gets a piece of banana. Drops the banana out of its mouth and then
into the pig farm.
That pig eats the banana.
Yep.
That pig gets killed, goes to a restaurant where one chef just happens not to fucking wash his hands after handling some meat.
He wiped his hands on the front of his thing.
And then you go, and the last moment you see is the picture of Gwyneth Paltrow shaking hands
the chef's
with the chef.
Yep. Yeah, all he would have had to done is just wash his hands.
It ties it together so well at the very end. And the score is perfect. The score works throughout the entire movie amazingly. But at the very end, it ties it well. And it just goes to show you that, fuck, this is just random.
Yep.
We just, it's just completely random.
Well, and that's probably what this coronavirus is, too. It was probably just a random thing.
Well, they do. I think they thought it was, God, they know. I think it was like something with like mixing like dead meat with like raw meat or something like that, or something weird like that.
Really?
That's how it always happens. Yeah.
Why would you do that?
Just accidental.
Oh, accidentally. Oh,
maybe accidental, or just like you said earlier, no health codes or anything like that.
Damn. Very
Very poor people, they don't have a lot of choice for what meat they get to eat and what meat they can't say no to. They kind of got to take everything they can.
So, Live Science, I'm assuming.com.
Live Science.
55-year-old individual from Hubei province in China may have been the first person to have contracted COVID-19, the disease caused by the new coronavirus spreading across the globe. That case dates back to November 17th, 2019, according to the South Morning China Post. So that's what
But
they
it doesn't
believe
say
could
how.
be.
It doesn't. Yeah, they tried to, but it doesn't say how it happened though.
Oh, yeah. So scientists now suspect the coronavirus SARS-CoV-2 originated in a bat and somehow hopped to another animal, possibly the pangolin.
That's the SARS virus though. That's what this movie was based off of.
Yeah, but which then passed it on to humans. The disease is now spreading between people without any animal intermediarity.
Yeah.
So that's what they're saying. That's how
That sounds
how
like
this
this-
virus started.
That sounds exactly like how the SARS virus started though.
Mm-hmm.
Was a bat. What are the odds all these things are happening by bats?
Probably a pretty good chance. I mean, bats are pretty gross, man.
No, they're not that bad. They're not as bad as rats.
No, not as bad, but I mean, rats. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know, but I mean, it just happens like that, It just happens fucking randomly.
I'll tell you something cool about this film, though. To promote this film, Warner Brothers Pictures Canada built 2 giant.
Oh, I
Petri
remember
dishes
this. Yeah,
treated with bacteria and fungi, and set them in a Toronto storefront window.
that is funny.
And then, as it was growing, it wrote out
Funny
Contagion
and something
with,
you couldn't do
with
right.
the biohazard symbols.
Funny and something you could not do right now.
Nope, not a funny time to do it.
Not a real goof you could do. In 2011, that was hilarious.
Oh,
They
definitely.
thought, damn, that shit can never happen to us. Now, you get 2 giant Petri discs in a storefront, and you're probably going to get shot.
Yes.
Like, this guy's just showing off. He's got corona. I mean, yeah, it's yeah. Should we give what we think about it?
Yeah. I mean, as far as I'll just go first. As far as the just all around what's the word I'm looking for? Authenticity, I'm assuming, of this film and the way that like it's put together. I thought it was awesome. I mean, it's not like super entertaining or action filled or a big thriller, but the acting's really good. I enjoyed it. I watched it through and I think it's a great movie to watch right now if you want to be terrified.
Yeah.
I mean, would you not? Would you not recommend this right now?
It will definitely scare you, but it might even put some perspective on
Yes. It'll definitely put
and
things
kind of
into
maybe
perspective.
some people need to seek maybe a mirror of what maybe some people need maybe some people
maybe
they're
it's
going
not that
grabbing
bad.
9 rolls of fucking toilet paper and kind of see that there's other people that need shit too. You're only looking out for yourself, and the people that only looked out for themselves in this movie ended up not even working out for them so well. So
Right. For me, as far as a grade, I thought it's really good. And yeah, I'm a little biased right now because of the whole coronavirus thing. But it actually was, they used a lot of terminology that we are hearing now with this whole COVID-19 crisis. So for me, I'm going to give it a biased grade. I'm going to give it an A-.
wow, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's just a really good movie in general. I mean, it's a really good pandemic movie, but I think it's a really good. The way they balance out so many different characters and way you don't feel like you were left with too little time with these characters or too much time with one character. That's hard to do when you have 6. Well, this movie has 5 Oscar winners.
Quite a few, yeah.
Yeah. Well, Jude Law, Lawrence Fishburne, Kate Winslet, Matt Damon, and Marianne Cotillard have all won Oscars. So for you to be able to split that movie up and not feel like you're left out wanting more of one character, I think that's a really hard thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
And it just shows you how strong this movie was with that, because it's not easy to have an ensemble cast and be able to split it up with that. But yeah, and I think it's shot very well. It's shot, again, like an art house film, but it's like a blockbuster, you know? It's like I don't know, what was the budget? Was 60 million. Yeah,
it's a
$60
big,
million
big
2011
budget.
too. Yeah, it's a huge budget. But yeah, and it's, again, the authenticity. I can't say that word either.
I know, it's hard.
But
Is
yeah,
that
like
one of
you
these
said,
symptoms of coronavirus,
might
to start
be,
stuttering.
yeah.
We
No,
can't
I think
talk.
we were always just stupid.
Yeah, we are.
But yeah, like you said, that's always the thing that's talked about with this film. But it's just a really good film in general. I gave it a B.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's a really good film. It didn't need to be hyper realistic. I mean, that's not like a thing for like if I'm going to see a virus movie, I have to have it unbelievably realistic.
Nor do I, but it does help.
But
I mean,
for this type of movie, it helps. That realism made this movie into a thriller, for sure. Because it's it can happen. You can't really argue that the shit that happened in this can't happen.
and it made you feel a certain way too, you know, as we were talking about earlier with like, you know, we would start looking for people to touch their face and stuff. And I know I touch my face a lot. So like, it's just every time.
Okay,
you
Winston
notice
says
of it.
someone does it 5,000 times a day.
Yeah, which I don't know about that, but it probably 300 or 400 times easily.
Well, you think about a lot of time you're touching your face, you're not even realizing it.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah, well,
98,
like drinking a glass is considered touching your face.
yeah, or just scratching.
I know, I scratch all the time.
Yeah, 98% of the time you're probably not even realizing you're touching your face. So I don't doubt it, man. But yeah, now maybe if you are hypersensitive to what's going on, you're scared. Maybe this isn't the best movie to watch for you, because that might just bring you.
It might even bring you
set
to
into a
level
fucking
11.
panic right now. But yeah, and it'd be nice if people maybe took it. Some people aren't taking it as serious as I think you should take it too.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that.
I think it's smart to keep your distance. Social distancing, I think, is the easiest thing you could do, and some people just aren't doing it right now.
What do you think for the future? Do you think it gets any worse as far as like the quarantine? Do you think we're going to go to like where we're at with Italy?
Yeah, Washington is the next step, is to quarantine everyone.
You think they will?
Yeah, but that's the thing where like you can still go to the grocery store, you can still go to work, and you can still go to, if you got to help someone out. But yeah, I think so. I think it will happen on a state level first. But it's possible that the United States, there's been a rumor going around that the government wants to do like a 14-day quarantine. It's a rumor, though.
Mm-hmm. Where everyone just stays home for 2 weeks. Yeah. I
Which is crazy, because they're talking about money-wise. Fucking Mitt Romney just said he wants to send everyone $1,000.
Mm-hmm. Well, Trump
That's a
just came out.
Republican.
I know.
You know things are crazy because Republican and Democrats are agreeing with each other right now.
I know.
That's fucking.
And they don't agree with anything.
I'm not kidding, man. I was watching it was like C-SPAN or something, and they were agreeing with each other like it was fucking World War II again. It was like the Democrats came out with an idea about like paid leave, sick leave, and the Republicans shut it down, and then came out with a bill more liberal. They wanted the government to like float the bill for everything, not companies.
Oh yeah, like payroll taxes and everything for the month.
It's crazy. Yeah, it's wild right now. It's like cats mingling with dogs.
Well, that's one interesting thing, Cash, about our country. If you remember 9/11, you know, our country came together for that.
Oh yeah.
Like,
at the end of the day, we are one.
We are one. We all are all one, and we are Americans, you know, too. And we do have this uncanny ability to be able to do that. When shit gets real in this country, we do just say, okay, let's put it all aside. Enough of the theatrics, the political theater. Let's just figure out the problem and let's find a solution to it. Oh. And I'm actually happy that we're trying to get to that right now.
Nothing brings a country together like disaster.
Yeah,
it's unfortunate
as it is,
that it takes a Nazi leader or someone crashing planes into our country for us to, or a pandemic for us to. The big thing is, I think people just got to take it seriously. I still see so many memes of people blaming the media and shit when there's not even a lot of politicians right now that are saying that it's all media, which is a politician thing to do.
Yeah.
There's not, and I see so many fucking memes of people like the politicians don't want you there. I don't see any politician right now telling you not to take it seriously.
No, I haven't seen one either.
So I don't get why people are posting these things where like the politicians don't want you to believe the media, so don't believe. It's like I don't see like
where are you getting
like
that
Ted
from?
Cruz, who came out and was saying it was bullshit at the start. He's fucking quarantining himself.
He's even on board now. He's like, maybe.
Yeah, there's not. I don't know if there's a single politician saying don't take this seriously. The only people that are telling you not to take it seriously are fucking
People on
idiots.
Facebook.
Yeah, people on Facebook.
Well, and that's what's crazy too, is there's like, there's all these like homegrown remedies to like fight the COVID-19. And I'm like, those aren't even real. They're not even medically backed up whatsoever. This is literally just someone posting their opinion online and stating it as a fact.
But again, it's misinformation because the government has not released enough information. Yeah.
Which, again, this film's real meta. Let's talk about that. Goodness
but they should make fucking politicians watch this film to know not what to do because they're just doing exactly what.
Yeah, this is literally a masterclass. Because
it took 12 weeks before they started releasing wide testing for it. Before they stopped charging people $2,000 for it.
Well, yeah. How long are we going to take before we start getting the COVID-19 testing?
Well, how long is it going to be before they start testing everyone? Wouldn't that be the next step? Ireland just developed tests that you can find out in 15 minutes.
Really?
Yep. They were
talking about the drive-through ones at like Walgreens and Walmarts and stuff, but I don't know when that's going to be implemented.
They're talking about how South Korea took it more serious than anyone when they got hit. They have some system where it's like a home kit. You go, you send it in, you drop it off, and they text you the next day. The next day, they text you if you have it or not.
Wow.
That's the way to stop it, right?
It is, yeah.
Why would they not?
Think.
Yeah, the only thing, it's cost money. That's the only thing. So, but
yeah, but I think South Korea's numbers are dropping, if I remember correctly. Don't quote me as fact.
No, they are.
I think
they were.
Yeah.
Well, China is starting in the negative now.
Yeah, they were. Did you see that picture with the doctors and nurses with their masks off? It was a good picture.
And they're sending doctors over to Italy right now because Italy is bad.
It's really bad.
It was 380 people died in one day.
And just 2 days ago. Just one. It was one day over 24 hours. But it was either yesterday or the day
before. But they're up
before.
to a couple thousand now. Which is, it's starting to count up. I mean, people say it's not as much as the regular flu season, but it's starting to add up. It's 5,000 people now that have it in the United States. Not dead, but have it in the United States.
Italy's coronavirus death toll surges past 2,500.
That seems kind of crazy.
That does seem really crazy.
No, I mean, that's correct, but it's crazy. I mean, that's right.
Well, there's 31,000 cases in Italy right now, according to worldmeters.info.
That's a high mortality rate, too.
Yes, it is.
That's high. That's like, what is that, like 3%?
Yeah. Yep.
That
3 or 4%.
That's a high mortality rate.
Gosh, that is so crazy. Over 31,000 people have coronavirus.
But I bet if they did widespread testing, that number would go up.
Oh,
Anywhere.
probably, yeah.
Anywhere. I bet if you do widespread, fucking Trump doesn't want those people from that cruise to come on because he doesn't want the number to go up.
Do you see that there's like fighting and stuff on the ship?
Well, also I heard they were fighting for rotten food. Yeah, like we have 5,000 confirmed cases right now. 46 isn't going to make that big a difference.
No.
Let him come home now. Oh my God. I don't want to die on a fucking cruise ship
with a bunch of fucking people.
I'd be jumping overboard. They're at the fucking because they station them in a bay. I'd be swimming at this point. It's not worth it to me. Take a lifeboat out.
Yeah, seriously. I'd jump off and swim to shore.
That is going to make the funniest TV series when someone makes of those people trapped on that fucking cruise ship when it goes to Lord of the Flies style tribalism and shit like that. When they start separating the city. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I mean, they're starting I'm sure people are starting to fish off the side or something.
Oh, yeah, man.
They're hunting down seagulls and shit.
It was wild watching that video because everyone's yelling and people are pushing each other, and I'm just like, oh my God, that's on a cruise ship. I'm so glad I'm not.
And what I've heard is all the people on the cruise ship haven't been tested yet.
No,
you can at least test all of them.
I know. Well, that's the thing, too, because now if one or two of them has it, they all have it on that ship.
Well, test them all. That's what they're just guessing. That's
They don't even know if anyone has it or not.
Fuck. It's getting wild.
It is. Definitely is.
Good time, though. if you're looking to invest in companies, because the stocks are
plummeting.
Cheap.
Yeah, they're real cheap.
Stocks are cheap. If you wanted to do stocks in Carnival, the cruise line, or Live Nation, the people that do concerts right now.
Yo, that would be a good stock to pick up.
Yeah, because it is plummeting. It's crazy. Or you want to mortgage a house?
Is it the Dow Jones or the Down Jones?
That's for our stockbroker fans. They're going to love that one. We have a lot of people on Wall Street listening to this.
Yes, we do. And they're pissing and shitting themselves right now.
Absolutely. There'll be a couple of jumpers not too long from now. Yeah, we'll be
Don't get your cocaine habits for a month.
Yeah. Oh, no. What are they going to do?
What are you going to do?
What are you going to do?
Got to sell that Ferrari.
That's the thing. Are dealers still are? I bet dealers are still out. They're the last people on the front lines. They're like doctors. Yep. They're like fucking doctors.
You need that H? Yeah. We got you.
The fucking paramedics, your dealer will show up quicker than the paramedic will when you find out you have corona.
Definitely.
That guy will be there immediately ready to sell you.
33 minutes ago, coronavirus, 4 Brooklyn Nets players test positive for COVID-19.
4?
4 Brooklyn Nets. Yeah.
Well, there was 1 in Detroit already did on the Pistons, and then 2 in Utah. 4. Oh my God! Protect the Blazers. That's been honestly the worst thing for me right now. Is I went from watching every single Blazer game to not being able to watch anything at all.
Doesn't that suck?
It's so shitty, dude. I didn't think it was going to be as bad as what it is, but it is shitty, man. I miss it.
I know, and the UFC's gone for 3 weeks too. They're saying that Habib
Ferguson
fight's still going to happen.
Apparently, he said he's going to move it out of the country. Did you hear that?
I did, yeah.
Go to Iceland or Greenland or something.
Just make it happen. I don't care. I don't care where you got to go.
He said it's going to happen. Yeah, he's going to have it in his garage or something. Dana. He should just set up a UFC. Set up an octagon in his backyard.
Well, that's what he did with the UFC Apex. But then the Nevada was like, nope, no competition for a month and a half. Like, no, you bastards.
Well,
but it is a good thing.
Everything's closing down, yeah. I can't get mad about it. And it sucks for these people. It's like, I mean, they don't want to lose money.
No, of course
That's another thing. People are getting so mad at them for closing.
It's like no one wants to close. Are you kidding me?
That's another thing about conspiracy is no one is making money off this. Maybe the toilet paper companies.
But that is it. You think they're behind this mass conspiracy?
Yeah. Do you think anyone's making money off this fucking... It's a lose-lose for everyone.
Yeah. Of course. But the only thing I will say on that is it is weird how all of these viruses, all these illnesses seem to come during election years. For both sides, it doesn't matter. But
we have a virus every year.
Yeah, it's like every 2 years, though, or every 4 years, it becomes like this huge issue. H1N1, swine flu,
Zika was scary last year, and only 3 people got that?
Yeah, but Zika, see, that wasn't a big thing because that didn't affect us.
Yeah, it did.
The Zika virus?
Yeah, it affected women. The Zika, 3 people in Oregon got it.
Well, yeah, but how many people died in Oregon from it?
Well, they can't have kids, remember? The people were having kids, and the kids' heads were deformed because of it. Mm-hmm. That sucks.
Yeah, that's a problem. That sucks.
So every year we have, I don't know if it's every election year, but every year there's something. But this one is different, obviously, because every year we don't tell people not to leave their house.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I mean, but every year there's something. And to that, like Contagion was based off the 2003 virus, which was an election year, 2003. And the 2009 flu pandemic, which was an election year. And those were the worst 2 last ones we had. 2009 killed 500,000 people. The flu season in 2009 killed 500,000 people.
Isn't that crazy? That's so many. That's so many people.
What's the worldwide death toll for corona right now?
For coronavirus? Yeah. I think it's like, it's got to be like 30, my guess.
30,000?
Yeah, probably 30,000. Let us see.
The thing is, most of these are only ever give updates about fucking...
one country.
About USA. The CDC has a really good map and website. This one says live. This one says 7,953 deaths.
7,000?
Yep. Almost 8.
Well, that's not, I mean, that's a lot of people. It's a lot of individuals. Yeah. But it's not, it's not 500,000.
And 81,000 people have recovered.
Mm-hmm.
Which is good.
That is good.
In China, they had a 103-year-old lady recover from it. That's what I said. At that point, just let her go. She doesn't even want to live.
No, I have a completely different theory.
I don't.
Extract her blood and try to make dude. She's got incredible genes. She's 103 years old and survived the coronavirus.
No, she's just stubborn. That's the only thing. You can't transfer.
You got to test on that one.
You can't transfer stubbornness.
She may have the superior genes.
She doesn't.
She does. Of course she does.
She does.
She's 103.
She's just some old lady. She's just an old lady from China who probably had the toughest life in the fucking world. It's not enhancing her DNA though. She just had the worst life her entire life. Had to fight for everything she ever. So she's at 103. Fuck, I'm not going with this fucking pussy ass virus. Yeah. Hell no, bro. You're not a bullet's gonna have to kill that lady.
That's insane. That's got to be the toughest woman on the face of the planet.
And it showed she was 103, and she looked like she was about 1,003, man.
Damn.
She looked older than time itself. I doubt they fucking had calendars back then when they started marking her.
I don't think so.
She looked ancient. Yeah, 103. That's just to show you these fucking American old people, man. They're just giving up.
Just giving up before.
They're getting the virus, they're giving up.
Yeah, oldest person to beat coronavirus. That's so crazy. This is the independent UK. That's so bonkers.
Yeah, I wasn't lying.
I know. I just wanted to find a picture of her. I can't find one. Though.
Oh, they showed the picture I saw. They showed her in the hospital.
Oh yeah, in the bed here.
Yeah,
yeah. They're all like doing hand signs, thumbs up. They're all in quarantine suits around.
They're like,
her.
all right, get her back to the fields. She's good now.
She can start plowing the fields again.
Yeah, start making them fucking back to the factories.
That's crazy.
Well, Mason, that's all I got in Corona.
Yeah,
I'm sure this will be the last time we ever talk about it.
Probably not.
As the death toll rises, we're going to keep people updated for sure.
Oh, yeah, this one, here it is. All the thumbs up. A lot of thumbs up for this person.
Yeah, you know they had to like prop her thumbs up.
They're swollen. Those hands are swollen, man.
Damn old, yeah.
Oh, man. Alrighty, well, that is our review for Contagion. If you guys like what you see, be sure to check out our YouTube channel. Type in Have You Seen It? Have You Seen It podcast. Be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification, get all the notifications on our videos. Audio format, our podcast. You can find it anywhere you listen to podcast. Spotify, iTunes, SoundCloud, Google Play, and Stitcher. Social media pages, Instagram, Have You Seen It? Facebook, Have You Seen It podcast? And Twitter, Seen It podcast. Cash is on Twitter. That's just Cash. My name is Mason Knight. That is Cash Krause. And until next time.
Adios.